So as I was explaining, I'm doing a warrior specialty track, and a lot of what we've been working on is restoring balance, and that means addressing all of the negative impacts and effects on our body of stress, of trauma even from the pandemic that a lot of people may not realize that they're experiencing. So we're trying to work through a little bit of that and giving people power in how to deal with it. So that is part of what I will share with you today. So some of the moves will be a little bit different, or just a different variation of what we might have done in the past, and maybe weird. But again, we have no expectations, there's no competition, and just go with it. Try and allow yourself to go with it and to trust the process. We're not headed in any specific direction, but we want to try and rejig some of the nervous system and some of the patterns that we have in our body, whether it's a habit that we might have, we're just used to doing it one way. We're just going to try and break that down a little bit over the coming weeks and see if it affects us in any beneficial way. And if it doesn't, no harm, at least then you know that this might not be a kind of practice for you. But at least then I've given you more options and variations to further your own practices. So we're going to start in Tadasana. And you are welcome to keep your eyes open or close them. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth to start. I am feeling the muscles in our face soften, melting towards the floor. Allowing our bodies to assume the natural rhythm of breath. Feeling our feet firmly planted on the mat, all four corners are making contact. Doing a body scan from the bottom up, just noting the active and dynamic tension in the body, getting a sense of the mood of the body today, where there might be lightness, energy, even tension. Bringing our awareness up the legs, into the pelvis, the core of our bodies, up to the abdomen and chest, the back, into the shoulders, down the arms, back up into the neck and into the head. Focusing just for a moment on our breath, noting the rising and falling of our chest and possibly abdomen. You are welcome here to set an intention for today's practice or the week ahead. And we'll just set an affirmation as well. Repeating one sentence in our minds. I am, or I have. I am light, I have power. I am peaceful. Whatever works for you today. Just repeat that in our minds a few times. Coming back to the sounds of the space around us, relaxing our arms, blinking our eyes open. We're going to bring our hands up towards the shoulders, nice and splayed out. Deep breath, inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, making fists, rounding out, curling the elbows into our abdomen. Inhale, lifting the chest, spreading out the fingers. Exhale, squeeze, scrunch, and around, chin to chest. Repeat this. Inhale. Moving to the power of our own breath. Finding our rhythm, slowly warming up the spine. Curling up, crunching. Inhale. Let's do one more. And come back to center, neutral position. Deep breath into reset. We're going to lift our right arm up, just raising it parallel to the floor. We're going to open it up and look behind us. Make note of how far behind you can see. Come back to center and reset. Inhale, lifting that arm up. This time we're going to push the shoulder back, squeezing the shoulder blade into the spine. And we're going to rotate again. Probably not as far. Inhale, come back to center. Lower the arm. We'll do that again. Inhale, lift, pressing the shoulder back, rotate. This time we're going to look the opposite direction, so turning our entire head. Bring the head back to center. Rotate that arm and lower it. Reset. Again, inhale, lifting up. Shifting that shoulder back, rotating. Bringing the head to the opposite shoulder. Now the eyes are going to look back towards that extended hand. And it might feel a little funny. Bear with me. Looking back to that extended hand. We're resetting our nervous system here and creating a new pattern in our body. Oh, let that go. Come back to center. So once again, we're going to go from the beginning. Lifting the arm naturally, all the way back, and see, if you can extend and twist even a little bit farther, maybe an inch, maybe 5, maybe 6. I'm a good foot farther. Come on back to center. Reset. Hopefully you all noticed a little bit of a difference. Bizarre. I'm not entirely sure how it works. Inhale, lifting the left arm, naturally neutral. And opening up, let's note how far back behind us we can twist. Inhaling back to center. Reset. This time we're inhaling, lifting, shifting that shoulder back, rotating. Probably not as far. Back to center, reset. Lifting that arm on the inhale, shifting the shoulder, twisting. This time looking the opposite direction over that right shoulder. A nice neck stretch at the same time. Reset the neck and bring the arm back. All the way down. Inhale. Raise, shift, open, rotate the head, and the eyes are going to look back towards that extended hand, towards the left. Taking a deep breath in here. Stay with it. Try to relax that right shoulder. It's probably wanting to go in the same direction. And reset the head, come back to neutral. Deep breath in. Last time, let's test. Lifting neutrally. Opening up. Oh, note how much farther you're able to go, if at all. Come back to center. Isn't that exciting? Let's just do a standing camel. So make some fists with our hands, jamming them into our lower back here. We're just lifting the chest. The action of lifting our chest to open up our pectoral muscles. Deep breaths in. You may even feel this opening up through the arm, down through to the elbow. Nice gentle back bend here. We're not forcing anything. The goal is to open the chest gently and purposefully. Deep breaths in. Two more breaths. And reset. Tucking that pelvis back underneath us. We'll come into a tree pose here. I know it's a little early for a balance, but we've just reset our nervous system. We should be fine. Finding whatever pose works for your hands. So long as there's a dynamic tension at play, you're pressing into the palms of your hands. Actively pressing that knee away, engaging the glutes, strengthening them so that we protect our lower back in our day-to-day movements. Feeling active pressure in all four corners of the feet. Nice, and release out of that. We've created some good headspace already this morning. Other side. Taking our time to get into position. Finding our balance. Release. Oh, very nice. Before we get into our squats, we're going to do a gentle side bend, so lifting that left arm all the way up over the body. We're going to lift the right one and grab onto the wrist. Keeping our pelvis directly underneath the body, we're opening up the left side of the body. It doesn't have to be a major bend, just so long as we're creating a little space between the ribs. Deep breaths in to open up that left side body, but try not to compress the right too much. Head is neutral and in line with the spine. And our breathing is not labored. If it is, we may be pushing too hard. Good. Come back to center. Maybe give those arms a shake. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little tingly today. Lifting the right arm up and grabbing onto it with the left. Sinking over to the left, opening up the right side body again. Just checking in with the breath, making sure it's not labored at all or forced. Gently opening up that side body, breathing air into the rib cage. Expanding the muscles that wrap around. Two more breaths. And release. Good. Bringing the feet wider, so double hip with the part that's pointing out. And on our squat, we're going to round out our arms. So come on back. Inhale, lift the chest again. Exhale, round out. Inhale, lifting the chest. Opening up, squeezing those shoulder blades. Round out gently. If you'd like to come to standing on the inhale, you are welcome. And start activating our legs with the squat on the exhale. And we'll start inhaling, rising all the way up. Exhale, squatting down, hinging at the legs. Sunflower. Moving to our breath. Warming up the body gently. Trying not to fold and round out the back here, but just to hinge at those hips. Surrendering ourselves to the rhythm of our breath. Let's do 2 more. And staying here, walking the hands forward, straightening those legs, pointing the toes forward. Trying not to round out our backs here, but we're getting a good stretch of the hamstrings all the way through to the calf muscles and ankles. You're welcome to give your head a little shake. Turn it left to right, up and down, whatever works for you. And if you need to bend the knees to keep the lower back from rounding, that is totally fine. Whatever works to get a good stretch of those hamstrings while keeping our back in alignment nice and straight. We're slowly going to lower down into all fours and enter into our cat-cow cycle. So nice and gently here. I'm going to shift a little bit. Good. So cat-cow, we've got our hands directly underneath our shoulders, our knees are under our hips. At any point, if you'd like to make fists for wrists, please do if that helps, if you're feeling your wrists are a little bit tender. But do whatever works for you. So if you're in a starfish, just lay those hands out as far as possible. So we're going to just roll left to right to start. Shifting our weight over each hand, each knee. Round in a circle, one direction. Shifting the opposite direction. Coming back to central to neutral here. And we're going to do a side bend. This time, keeping our pelvis directly underneath us, we're scrunching the hip into the rib cage. So it's like there's an elastic here that's squeezing, or a string that's squeezing together. We're looking back towards the feet. Again, just noting our hip placement, making sure that the hips are still above the knees. And it's just that side body that's scrunching in. And release. I'm going to do that same side again, scrunching that side in. And let's look the opposite direction. The whole head is looking towards the opposite shoulder. And reset to neutral. You know what's coming next. Scrunch it up. Look the opposite direction. The head is to the other shoulder. Now your eyes are going to come back as best as possible. And reset to neutral. One more time. Deep breath in and scrunch over. Nice. Good. Neutral. Deep breath in. Reset. We're going to go to the opposite side. Another deep breath. Scrunch over to the other side. Again, just drawing the hip towards the rib cage, trying to keep our pelvis over top of our knees. Resetting here. And scrunch again. Let's look to the opposite shoulder. Reset. Last time here. Scrunching. Look the opposite shoulder, but avert the eyes. So they're coming back to the scrunch side. I know your head probably wants to follow. A little bizarre. And reset. Last time, scrunching to that same side. That string is pulling our hip up to the rib cage. Deep breath in. And reset. Come into child's pose here, grabbing our block if we have one. We're going to put the block underneath the forehead so that we can roll the forehead left to right. So our arms are probably going to be on our forearms. If you don't have a block, no worries. You can stack your fists or your hands and just roll the forehead left to right. We're activating our vagal nerve here, which will light up our alertness, our consciousness. Helping with memory, attention, absorption, keeping us focused in the present moment. While at the same time getting a good stretch of the hip flexors and our lower back. You may even feel this in the quadriceps depending on how tight you feel. Come back to neutral, just centering our heads. Enjoying this moment of having stopped. There's no tension on the neck. Now we're going to come back into our cat-cow position. One more fun trick with our eyes. So stacking the hips over top of the knees, the shoulders over top of the hands. We're doing a nice deep breath in, sinking the tailbone, following with the head. Exhale, rounding out, starting with the tailbone, waving our spine through the motion. Again, inhale, sinking that tailbone, and letting the head follow. Exhale, round up. One vertebrae at a time, creating space between those vertebrae. Let's do one more full set. Exhale, rounding up. Come back into cow. And looking down the nose here. So our head is pointed up, but we're looking down the nose towards the floor. And exhale, round into cat. We're looking back towards our feet. This time we're going to gaze upwards into our head. If any of this feels uncomfortable, you are welcome to stop, reset, come into child's pose. One more breath. Inhaling back into cow. One more time, looking all the way down our noses. On the next exhale, round out into cat. Our head is pointed towards our chest. We're looking up into the brain, up into our heads. Trying to keep the chin to chest. And reset. Coming back into child's pose, this time with our knees a little bit wider. We're going to come down this time onto our block a little bit flatter. Again, just resting the forehead on the block or on your fists or your hands. Removing the block if you'd like to come a little bit deeper into the stretch. Not causing any stress on the body today. Inhaling, let's reset back into our all fours. We're going to come down onto the mat and come into a deer pose. So shifting both legs in one direction. Our hands are extended over that front knee. Yeah? Good. So we're going to do our fun twists again. Well, let's see how we do seated. And then we'll get a nice spinal twist and stretch. It's all about elongating the spine today and some correct alignment. So lifting the right arm, you can flatten that left hand or of course put it on your block, depending on how comfortable you're feeling today. Fingertips, whatever works for you. Inhale, lifting the arm parallel to the floor, opening that right arm, looking back behind us as far as we can. Take note of how far it goes. Our gaze is following our thumb. On the next exhale, we'll reset. Lower the hand. Inhale, shifting back with the shoulder, opening up again, following the thumb with our gaze. And exhale, reset. And again, lifting, shifting, opening up. The head this time turns the opposite direction. Reset, bring everything back together, lower down. Inhale up, shift, open. The head goes to the opposite shoulder, but the eyes look back to that outstretched hand. Hang in there, give it a couple more breaths. If you feel nauseous or woozy, just reset. Training the nervous system here, creating new pathways and new brain cells. Let go, reset, come back to center, let it down. And again, just naturally, neutrally, lifting the arm and coming back all the way as far as we can. Seeing if we can go a little bit farther. Wow. I gained a good foot. Reset. How did that feel? Notice the difference. We're going to walk those fingers out in front of us onto our forearms or again onto the block. Just doing a side fold here, elongating the spine. Deep breaths in, trying to pull the chest forward as we hinge over that knee. Sinking over top of it, slowly and gently. You're welcome to come down onto your fists or onto your hands stacked. As you feel that hip flexor start to open up, you may feel this wrap around your lower back, depending on how you're feeling today. But again, we're listening to our bodies, being aware and bringing awareness to any tight spots that may need a little extra care. And exhale, pressing up gently. We'll do a gentle side bend here. So the back hand comes to that back foot. We're lifting the front arm and gently side bending over top towards the back feet. Trying not to roll forward, but to keep that shoulder blade engaged, the arm is above our head. Again, you may feel this wrapping around the lower back. Be gentle. Two more breaths. And release. Good. Let's shift our legs to the other side. Double deer. Good. So our arms this time are over top of the right knee. Beautiful. Oh, left. Good. Good. So we're lifting up the front arm, the one over top of that knee. Other one. Yep. Good. Open up as far as possible. Good. So you've got your anchored hand on the ground. Checking out how far we've gotten, where your thumb is on the wall in relation to the room. Reset back to neutral. Lifting that arm, shifting the shoulder back, and opening up, following the thumb with our gaze. Resetting to neutral. Good. Third time. Inhale, shift, open. This time our head is going the opposite direction, looking over the opposite shoulder. And reset. Bring that arm all the way back to the front. Come on back. Inhale, shift, open. The head goes to the other shoulder, but this time the eyes are coming back. The eyes are going to come back to that outstretched hand. It's only a few breaths. Bear with the nausea or the discomfort you might be feeling. Your brain and your nervous system are saying, what is going on here? This is unusual. This is weird. Let's go with weird. We're embracing weird today. And exhale, come back to neutral. Ha. Last time. Just naturally, neutrally lift the arm up and extend all the way back. See if you came any farther. Ha. 2 feet. Amazing. Such a fun little trick. Come back to center. Now let's fold over, hinging over that hip, lowering down nicely and slowly. Again, you may feel this wrapping around that lower back. This is good. We want to get into the fascia, release any of those connective tissues that may be blocked. Gently lowering ourselves down as and when we may be able to deepen our stretch. Taking any stress off of the neck, letting the head hang long. One more breath. And on the exhale, press up gently. Good. Reset back to center. We're going to bring our both feet out all the way in front of us. Good. So just positioning our hands behind. You know this is our typical staff pose Tadasana. Let's just feel this opening up the chest, pressing forward, feeling the stretch down our arms. Maybe even a strengthening feeling in the triceps as we just sink gently into a back bend here. Lifting our chest, drawing energy and air into the pectoral muscles. And release on the next exhale. We're going to bring both feet into 90 degrees, about hip width apart. Gain your stability here with your hands, however it works for your wrists. Again, wrists for fists or behind. We're going to extend the right leg out, sliding it along the mat. scrunching the foot, scrunch, 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 all the way up. I know I'm doing the same thing with my face. Pulling it back in, planting the foot and lifting the toes, just the toes of the right foot. Not so easy. Lower the toes, extend that leg all the way up. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Ballerina toes. Anyone's done ballet? However it works for you. I like the front of the foot stretch as well. Release. Bring that heel back in. Plant the foot. Lift the toes only, just the toes. I know your left foot probably wants to do the same thing. And release. One more time. Pushing it out. Scrunch, scrunch, scrunch. Bring it back. Lift those toes. Very nice. Relax. Wiggle that around. Feels good. Let's do the same with the left foot. So sliding that heel all the way out, extending the feet. Maybe scrunch it up, however it works for you. We all have different feet. Don't worry about what mine looks like. And pull it back in, plant it, lifting the toes only, trying to keep the ball of the left foot. I know, try to control that right foot too, huh? Just try it. Lower those toes, extend out all the way. Scrunch, scrunch. Try not to do the same thing with your face. Good, pulling it all the way back in. Planting the foot, lifting the toes. Planting those toes. One more time, extending that left foot. Scrunch it all up. Good. Bringing it back. Plant the foot, lift the toes of the left foot last time. Good. And wiggle that foot around. Release the shoulders and the arms a little bit. Very nice. Good. Let's lower down on our back gently, or one option and variation of our figure 4 stretch is to hold here, but depending on how your wrists feel, you may want to come down onto your back, and that is what I am going to do, but this is a variation. So if you feel that this gives you a good enough stretch, you're welcome to stay here. Otherwise, alternatively, we can lower down on our backs and draw that knee up in, either reaching on top of the knee or behind the thigh, depending on how the knee feels and where any pressure points may be in our body. And you know I like to rock side to side on this one, but being careful of our alignment, we don't want to shift any of our vertebrae out unnecessarily. And again, you can pulse, just bringing a little bit of pressure to the top of that leg, working IT band and the fascia that runs along the left and outside of that leg. From the hip all the way through to the knee. If you don't feel this stretch at all, you are so blessed. I wish. Lowering both of those down. Letting the spine reset, walking our feet to the edge of our mat and just allowing the knees to come together in the center. Again, you're welcome to shift left to right. Lowering one leg in the center at a time. Depends how your hip flexors allow and how they feel for tightness. Just note any sensations here. It works through a little bit of extra energy too that may be circulating in the body. Bringing the feet back hip width, let's lift the opposite leg over the opposite knee. And figure 4, thread the needle through here. Taking your time to feel the different sensations if you move around until you find a place that works for you. and release. We're coming onto our side now. Oh, I'm excited about this. Rolling onto our side, our knees are going to stay at about 90 degrees. Our lower arm is underneath, just supporting the head. The upper arm is just resting gently. We're going to push that front leg, knee over. So you're just moving the hip forward and back. Forward and back. So the top knee might come over about 2 inches or so and come back. Shifting the hip, the pelvis. Good. 2 more. You may start feeling it light up a little bit in that top glute all the way through the back of the leg. Good. Reset back to neutral. The upper hand is going to come and wrap around the head. We're gently going to roll forward and then open up on the inhale, rolling back. As we roll, each time we might sink a little bit deeper or open up a little wider. Trying to stay on that hip. Engaging that shoulder blade. You may even feel the armpit stretch out. Gentle rotation of the spine. You'll feel a gentle twist of the lower back. Gently setting our alignment and connecting all the tissue from the tailbone through to the crown of the head. Just visualize that energy running along the spine. Knowing that all of our energy, nervous system, parasympathetic system, they all start in the pelvis. So gently placing our attention there. Good. And reset to neutral. I'm going to take a moment just to scrunch up again, not pulling on the head. Inhale, lower down. Exhale, scrunch up. Inhale, lower down. 3 more. One more. Good. Rolling onto our tummy and then onto the other side. Good. So lower arm is underneath the head. Upper arm is just resting on the hip. The knees are at 90 degrees. We're just slightly pushing the pelvis enough forward so that top knee comes over the bottom knee about 2 inches or so. That's the goal that we're working towards. Engaging the pelvis here. Activating all of the parasympathetic nervous system, just helping to undo some of the stress in our body. Restoring balance. Nice. Good. Let's do 2 more. Good. Reset to neutral. Bringing our upper hand around our head. We're going to open and close. So folding forward. Inhaling, opening up. Taking our time to warm into it. Engaging that top shoulder blade. Feeling a gentle stretch of the spine. Paying attention to any sensations we may feel. Last one. Good. Coming onto our backs, we're going to do a hip thrust. For those of us with blocks or a bolster, we're going to put the bolster underneath our sacrum. Those of you without, that is totally fine. Just come up into a hip thrust, a bridge. We're allowing our hands to either be on our tummies or on the floor beside us, whatever is most comfortable for you. Just taking a moment here to place our attention on the hip, where all the nerve endings begin, the root of all of our brain cells and our nervous system, parasympathetic system, even our social system. Taking a moment to nurture this place of our body. And you're welcome to roll side to side if that feels comfortable. Just slightly shifting the hips left to right. That may even move the knees left to right. And then finding our central place, just like pelvic tilt, lifting and lowering, arching the back, again like a small cat-cow, tilting the pelvis forward and back, gently. And rolling into a circle now. So the pelvis is rolling all the way around to one direction, trying to hit every side of it on the mat or on your block. And shift directions. And one more time around. Come back to neutral, stacking the legs over top of our hips. Pointing the toes towards our foreheads. Helping out our blood circulation here. Getting the blood flowing up to the heart rather than down through the legs. You can wiggle your feet around, left, right, point and flex, roll, whatever feels good. Let's try to keep our feet up here for another 30 seconds. Three more seconds. Lower the feet. We're going to slowly shift that block out from underneath us and give ourselves a little knee hug, so Apasana. Tucking those knees all the way in. Working the hip flexors by keeping the knees together. Now we're going to roll onto our front so that we're on our tummy in prone pose to finish off today, nice and gently. it might be your preferred way, our hands are just underneath our shoulders. Just shift the hips left and right until the feet fall naturally at a good distance that feels comfortable. We're going to just start off with doing some chest raises, but the raise is going to start from our hips and our legs. So firming up the legs, engaging the glutes, we're going to lift the lower back and then slowly lift the chest off the mat. Inhaling here. As we lower down, we do the opposite on the exhale. Nice and gentle. Inhale, squeezing the glutes, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. Go to your breath. The whole back body is engaged here, from the legs through the glutes, upper back, even with those shoulder blades drawing back to open the chest on the inhale. Lowering down gently. Do a few more. Just bringing awareness to those muscles that are activating. We'll do one more. Drawing air into the spine between each vertebrae and release. We can bring our arms to our sides, palms are facing up. Allowing the shoulders to just fall away from our ears. Chin is on the mat. And extending our right arm along the side of our body, outstretched from the shoulder. Bringing our left hand under the shoulder, up on the fingertips. Lifting the left foot off the mat, and we're going to gently rotate behind us. Last rotation here. Trying to work towards tapping our toe to the ground. If it doesn't, that is fine. You're engaging the hip flexor, the glutes, the spine, building strength in the lower back muscles and the glutes, all of which protects and restores. You may feel a little bit of a stretch in that right shoulder. And you can look towards the left if that's comfortable. Two more breaths here. And then reset back to neutral when you're ready. Gently lowering the left side of the body back down to the mat. Gentle reset. And extending the left arm out from the shoulder. Drawing the right arm up underneath. Lifting the right leg and rotating it towards the left, behind your body. My foot is dangling, but that is where it feels most comfortable. Just taking a moment to notice any sensations in the body. Strengthening, power, stretch. You may even feel some tight spots. Just be gentle. Two more breaths. And resetting back to prone. Shifting those hips left to right, allowing the arms again to come back to our sides, palms facing up. Enjoying the moment of having stopped, feeling the contact of our bodies on the mat below us. Running through a quick body scan, head to toe, noting any sensations you might be feeling. And with smiles on our faces, just taking a moment here to feel grateful, appreciation for being able to practice together, and to deepen our own practices. Taking deep breaths in through the nose, drawing in new energy. Exhale, letting out any residual tension. One last time, drawing in new energy and focus for the week ahead. Letting go of anything stagnant that may not be serving us. You're welcome to stay here as long as you like. When you're ready, drawing our hands under our shoulders, pressing up gently. You may even want to reset through child's pose, whatever works for you. Taking our time to come back to reality with our new focus and energy. Namaste. Welcome back.